It's ironic, but you can get worse by trying harder and get better by doing less. Here's how. Timothy Gallwey wrote this amazing book, The Inner Game of Tennis, which is a bestseller from, I believe, the 70s, a long time ago, but super relevant to this day. He's a tennis player and a tennis coach. And he noticed when, as a coach, he gave a lot of instructions to his students, they would just stiffen up and they would focus on what he said and it would just stiffen everything and they wouldn't play so well. And so he tried an experiment. Instead of telling them exactly what to do, hold your arm at a 90-degree angle, hold it like this, instead of saying any of this, he would just say, just look, observe how I'm playing. And then he wouldn't say anything and he would just hit the ball in front of them, just hit the ball. And then after a while, he would just tell them, look, now you try. And he noticed a major improvement. And this improvement hurt his ego a bit, he even admits. Oh, I don't even have to tell him anything. Maybe I'm not as good as of a coach. But he quickly put that aside, thank God, and he just kept teaching people this way because he noticed much, much more effective. And this is how we learn. As babies, we often just learn by observing others and then we naturally, our subconscious just imitates their behavior, their actions, and that's how as humans, we learn, and often we forget that. How can we use this for our own performances? How can we use this for public speaking, for example? In public speaking, there are a lot of tips like stand up straight, speak out loud, stand there with confidence, show confidence, look to the right, look to the left, look people in the eye, use hand gestures, but not too much, but use hand gestures. Imagine you have that and you go on stage. The whole time while standing there in your head, you're rethinking all these, what did this person say to me? Look people in the eye. Okay, I should look people in the eye. Use hand gestures, but not too much. I should also use my hand gestures, all right, but not too much. So whenever you do this, you just get stiffer and stiffer and your performance just feels very stilted, very unnatural. When you ask the best performance in sports, for example, they always say they didn't have to think about it. They just let it happen. The author says, observe and then tell your subconscious to just let it happen. Put up a great speaker, for example, on YouTube, or even if you have a past performance, just look at yourself and just not passively watch, but really try to absorb, try to feel into what they're doing. This is not just a tip in Inner Game of Tennis. This is mentioned in a lot of other books as well. This is an amazing book, Little Book of Talent, 52 tips for improving skills. And the very, very first tip is actually stare at who you want to become. And he recommends that you always look at the greats. Just look and try to absorb it. Bookmark a few YouTube videos and watch them before you practice or at night before you go to bed. That's a very first tip. So instead of forcing it on yourself with a lot of verbal instructions, try to see yourself or another great perform really well and then just let it happen. Is it a guarantee that you're gonna perform as well as the great you just saw? Of course not. But you increase the chance that you are. You're not gonna stiffen up like crazy because of this constant inner monologue. Instead, you'll be more relaxed and just increase the chance of it just happening, being in the flow and just having a good time. And that's the key to good performance. This is not the only trick that helped me a lot. Actually, a plastic surgeon changed my life in terms of performance. This is how.